When I first moved to Cyprus in 2019, I paid 1,000 euros for a 3-bedroom apartment in Limassol in the most expensive city. Now, 4 years later, I'm also paying 1,000 euros per month, but I have a 2-bedroom apartment in Paphos, which used to be the cheapest city on the island. So, what the hell is even going on? Hey everybody, it's Rico, and in this video I'm going to talk about the uncomfortable truth that rental prices in Cyprus are exploding. But don't worry, because in this video I'm going to give you the best tip on how you can still find very cheap property rentals, and most importantly, how you can protect yourself from increasing rental prices in the near future. Alright, so let's talk about the facts. The official numbers in Cyprus state that rental prices increased 19% compared to the exact same time last year. And I put an emphasis on official numbers because everyone that lives in Cyprus for some time knows that unofficial numbers are much more crazy. In fact, I regularly hear stories where people tell me that they now pay double the rent compared to just a few months ago. A lot of apartments and houses are rented out unofficially for various different reasons, and thus obviously the landlord doesn't register the rental income, and thus also those rentals don't count into the official numbers. So the unofficial numbers could be much higher. Those private landlords, they basically do whatever they want. They don't apply to any kind of rental increase limit rule. If they rent out the apartment for 700 and they see the neighbors renting it out for 800, next month they will rent it out for 900. Some people call this a bubble, and yeah, maybe, but why would this bubble burst if the demand keeps increasing all the time? The only way rental prices would fall down again is if there is more supply than demand. And I just don't see this in the near future to happen, because yes, there are a lot of construction sites and new buildings, but it takes at least 1 or 2 years until those buildings will be finished, and in the meantime there will be thousands of new people moving to Cyprus. So only if the growth of properties built will be faster than people moving to Cyprus, then the rental and property prices will stagnate or fall again. But of course, no one really knows what will happen exactly. This is just my opinion, so definitely let me know what you think will happen to the rental prices in the future in the comments down below. Now, okay, prices are high, we get it, but what can we do about it? What can you do about it if you want to rent a nice property in, let's say, Limassol or Paphos? In the past, I used to say that you should visit the Facebook or Bazaraki marketplace and look for a listing there and be very quick. But I would argue that this really doesn't make sense anymore. There are literally hundreds of people looking for the online listings right in this moment at any time, and on top of that there are also a lot of fake listings these days. And as soon as there is something relatively good on the market, you will compete with at least 50 other people. It's really not the same anymore as, let's say, 3 years ago, where you could be absolute sure that you will get the property if you find it on the marketplace. In fact, I actually remember the times when I could visit 10 different apartments and the landlords were waiting for my response because they didn't have any other options. But okay, times change, this is life, and so we have to adapt to the new real estate game in Cyprus. And my new recommendation is to work with a very good local real estate partner. Because the more I live in Cyprus, the more I realize one thing, and that is connections are everything. I met a girl from the East and she asked me if I know someone that is renting out a little apartment or studio in Limassol for 800 euros. And I was laughing at her. I was telling her, girl, no way this is possible. But then I asked a friend of mine in Limassol that is working in the real estate market, and he told me that recently an investor bought a complex and he wants to rent out the apartments in that complex for 750 euros. And just 2 months later, she moved into this new apartment for 750 euros in central Limassol. That is amazing. So yes, there are still some very good deals out there, but you will most likely not find them online, but offline. Because if I have a nice property, why would I put it online? So that some random person can find it? No, I will ask 2 or 3 friends of mine, and I'm sure that they have other friends, and one of them will rent out my property and I have it in my close circle. So a practical tip for you is to get into one of those circles and to try to get a very good deal from a friend's friend. A very quick solution to do that would be to work with an agency or with an agent, because they actually have a network as well that they build up for years. But it's very important to work with professionals, because you don't want to regret your decision later on and find out that there are problems with the property because the agency didn't do a good due diligence. Another option that works very well here in Cyprus, because as I said, connections are everything, is to just ask around. Ask locals, ask friends, and just build up your own network, and within a very short period of time you will find someone that will rent out a nice property to you. And in the meantime you have so many other options. You can live in an Airbnb, in a hotel, or just with another friend. I'm sure someone has a sofa for you, and if no one does, you can ask me. Now, even more important, if you find a good deal, definitely make sure to have a strong contract. This is actually very important, especially if you're renting from a private landlord that doesn't have a big property portfolio. The benefit of a private landlord is that he can invest a lot of time into you because he doesn't have much properties, but the big disadvantage is that he doesn't care so much about the contracts, and he will basically ask for a higher rent if he knows he can do it, because he wants to do as much money as possible. So private landlords are much more likely to just randomly increase the rent, because even if you have a rental contract, they don't really care, because they know what can you do, like go to the police, they will most likely laugh at you. But the big developers in Cyprus, they will most likely not do this. 1, because they don't need the money as much, they have a huge property portfolio and a big cash flow. 2, they don't want to hurt their image or reputation by not sticking to a contract. And 3, because they think long term, they know that every market has its cycles, and as fast as the rental prices go up, eventually, who knows when, they can go down as well. And if they will have a bad reputation, then they know this will not be good for business. And so, this is why I'm currently renting from one of the top 3 developers here in Cyprus. I have a long-term rental contract, and in the next year I'm 100% guaranteed to pay the exact same rent, and just in the 3rd year I will be paying rent with a maximum rent increase of 7%. That means I'm now paying 1,000 euros, and in the 3rd year I will maybe maximum pay 1,070 euros, and that is totally fine with me, because if I would have a private landlord, who knows, maybe he charges 2,000 next year. If you need any further help with properties in Cyprus, definitely reach out to me via the video description, and I will introduce you to my real estate partners here. And if you subscribe to the channel, I will see you in the next video.